Hey, what is up, awesome people? Shady Wags back with some Dead by Daylight gameplay on the Xbox One. And I just want to say that you may have already got the impression, purely from the amount of videos I put out already on Dead by Daylight, but I really love this game. It's funny because I was very hesitant to buy it at first. I thought the game would get monotonous, doing the same thing over and over, but I was completely wrong. With a large diversity of killers and survivors, there's a good variety of maps, and the progression system, it's all kept me thoroughly entertained a lot longer than I originally thought it would. I know some people just aren't going to buy the game because they can't get past the brutality, but at the heart of Dead by Daylight, though, it's really a good online version of Tag, but with knives and chainsaws and blood and death. So maybe not your typical game of Tag unless you're at the Manson family reunion. So you can see here I am playing the Hag. After playing the Trapper, she has been difficult. She is very deceiving. Deceiving in the fact that I have some really good matches with her, and then I turn around and just absolutely suck it up with her. And I don't know about for you, but for me, when I'm playing a killer, I have to say there's nothing more embarrassing than letting everyone escape. What's been really tough to adjust to, though, is her height. In the game tips, they approach this like it's an advantage, that you can sneak right up on people. But the only thing it's really done for me is caused me to constantly lose line of sight on survivors. And if I'm playing that map in the cornfield or the one in the swamp, I might as well just sit in the corner because I'm not going to get anybody if they run into that cornfield. Another thing is your swing is so wide and slow. You really have to hone in and make sure you're going to get that hit. I've gotten used to that part. What the real problem is, after a successful hit, her hand or claw or whatever the hell that nasty thing is covers about the whole damn screen. So again, I'm losing line of sight. I would say about half the time after hitting someone with her, I'm just flat out guessing which way people are going. So, needless to say, I'm a really bad chaser with her. Well, despite the issues, there are some good things. Once I unlocked the Hex Ruin, well, they might as well call this thing Hex Disconnector. You would not believe how many people will quit the match because of this perk. If you don't know how Hex Ruin works, I have it at tier 1 right now, so at the beginning of the trial, one totem is going to be picked out of all the totems, and that's going to be the Hex totem, and it'll look a little bit different than the others. It's going to be on fire. And as long as that totem stays up standing, 2 random survivors cannot progress on generators. If they work on a generator, they're actually going to regress until they find and destroy that totem. And the cool thing about it is, you can see the totem at the beginning of the match. So I run to it and basically guard that thing. Once you unlock Hex Ruin at tier 2, it affects 3 survivors, and at tier 3, all of them. So at tier 3, they have to destroy that totem or they can't work on the generators. And I can't believe the amount of people that when they start the trial and they find out they're hexed, they won't even look for the totem, or they won't look very long, and then they'll just quit. So far, though, I would say the Hag has been considerably more difficult to play than Trapper John. She has been a challenge, but I'm never one to shy away from that. I think the thing about Hex Ruin is it can extend out a game for a period of time, and it can wreak havoc on a team that's not communicating, especially if they're not all together. You know, and I think this may be the case with this team. I haven't really done anything to this point but chase that ace that was going after the totem a couple times, but they really haven't done anything either up to this point, so I guess we're kind of even. What I normally do is I try to put the hexes down on 3 generators at the beginning of the match that are close together, and then just defend those. Well, I'm not doing that right now. I guess when that guy went after the totem early, it just threw me out of rhythm, and I started chasing him, and now at this point I'm just going to keep trying to chase them down. Not seeing anyone. I just have to be patient. Eventually something's going to happen here. I just have that feeling. Worst case scenario, they get all the Jennies up and then teabag me at the gate. I hate that. Ace. And there's a perfect example of a successful hit. And then look how long it takes to recover and just how much of that screen's covered up. Okay, so I lost him. Is this the same guy? That's not a real good hiding spot. If you heard that thunder, someone just destroyed the totem, so now that hex is off. I'll just have to get back to Mark and Jenny's now. Stairs here might be a good spot. It might run someone off going from that one upstairs. I'll just damage this one and mark it. That was weird. A trap went off and then a disconnect. Oh, and here we have one of our aces. And finally, a survivor is down. So a bad turn of events for them. One guy DCs and the other is going to go on the hook now. And the DC doesn't really surprise me. Some of these matches with the Hag, between that Hex Ruin and then the teleports running people off of the generators, it tends to extend these matches out. And sometimes people will just get discouraged and they'll quit. Now, if you play against a group that's experienced and working together, they know enough that the key to beating the Hag is by crouching. As long as you crouch, it's not going to set off those traps. Let's see if they come after this guy. I can't believe they're not going to get him. There we go. Traps are being triggered. Let's pour it in, do a quick swing. And now I have 2 hurt aces. I am not going to let this guy get away. I have to keep my eye on the prize. He's just going to try to lose my line of sight. I don't think this guy is going to do any crazy jukes. And he goes down right by a hook. I bet this guy's like, son of a... I'll just go around now and start damaging generators and marking them and try to keep them on the run until I can locate each one of them. Two generators between 2 people against a Hag, that is a pretty tough hill to climb. And I'm fortunate. These 3 generators are not too far apart, so this is going to be even more of a challenge for them. Let's see if they're up to it. They're probably wishing they were going against another killer other than the Hag at this point. And on the topic of killers, let's talk about the next killer that's going to be added. So we now know in August they are releasing the Halloween DLC to consoles, which includes Laurie Strode as a new survivor and Michael Myers, aka The Shape, as the new killer. This is nothing new to PC players. They've had this DLC for quite a while now, but I did see that back in July, the devs talked about the next killer. All they said was it was going to be called The Crawler, and it would make the game more vertical. They also released some concept art. Now, since then, they've come back and they've said that this was never confirmed. The Crawler was just a concept they were playing with at the same time they were creating Nia. And at this point, it's neither confirmed or denied that the Crawler will be the next killer. Me and Tommy Bruce were talking while we were playing, and I made the comment out of left field for some reason that Chucky was going to come after him. Now, Tom loved the idea of Chucky being added to the game. Me, not so much, especially after playing the Hag, because I couldn't even imagine how he would be able to deal with those line-of-sight issues. Especially, you know, being shorter than the Hag. I guess if Chucky was added to the game, they'd have to give him some type of aura tracking. And the problem I see with that is if you give it to him, then all the other killers are going to have availability to it. And I can see giving that to some of the other killers that could be really overpowered. I don't know what else you could give Chucky to make him fit. Tom thought about some type of misdirection perk, because in the movies, you know, you always hear him in one place and then he scuttles around, you hear him in another, and then he ends up right behind his victim. So maybe some type of perk if you're in his terror radius, they hear noises like knife swings and running around and things that may not actually be there, kind of like what the Doctor has. Now, if we're sticking with movie killers, the character I would much rather see added is the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. I think the Creeper fits this game perfectly. He's a demon that comes out of hibernation every 23 years and eats the body parts of his victims. He uses weapons in the movies. He's used knives, bone shurikens, and even a battle axe. Plus, the dude can fly. Can you even imagine a killer that has some type of limited flight ability? And on top of all that, he can smell fear. And I think they could easily build a set of perks around this guy, because his entire thing is he likes to scare, harass, and chase people to invoke fear into them before he picks his victim. So I don't know, how do you guys like the idea of Chucky or the Creeper being added to the game, or do you think they should maybe go with someone else from an existing franchise? Or would you rather them go the route with an original killer like the Crawler concept? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about that in the next video. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. And hey, do me a big favor. If you could, me and Tommy Bruce are streaming live on Mixer.com, and our goal is to eventually get partnered. So I would appreciate it if you jump over to Mixer and give us both a follow. I'll put the links to our channels in the top of the video description. And if you follow us, you'll get notified when we go live, and you can come and talk to us and maybe even play a game or two together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.